Hello everyone. Today we are going to install a Caliert half roof rack on a Jeep JK. So I wanted to start by just a simple unboxing, let you know what's in the packaging, and then we'll kind of segment and lay it out for you and then work on the install. So first and foremost, here's the box it comes in. It's a lightweight aluminum. However, when it's boxed up like this, it is pretty heavy. So you'll probably want two people. And we'll lay it down, we'll open this up for you. All right, so we got it all opened up. As you can see, the packaging is amazing. Everything foam wrapped. You have your headers. Underneath will be your footer, your side rails. Now on the JK, you'll have two brackets right here. These will actually mount to the rain gutters, and then these two brackets in the back will mount, if you see the Jeep, they will mount on the rear window. So the instructions, this does come with all the tools and the instructions. You'll see the instructions are not outlined the greatest. It's just a couple pictures and then your list of parts and the tools that you'll get. So what we're going to do today is just simplify this. What we're going to do is pull it all out of the wrapper, and I'll lay it out for you and then walk you through the process of putting it together, and then I'll get a hand and have this lifted up on the Jeep. This is pretty streamlined, pretty cut and dry, but it is best to just kind of lay it out and assemble it on the ground. So what I'm going to do right now is unbox everything, lay it out, and before I start screwing things together, I'll walk you kind of through what I'm doing. All right, so we're going to start laying this out, but first I wanted to show you how everything's packaged. You have your tools, your support feet, all your nuts and bolts. Everything is just nicely packaged in this. The rack is well put together. Something to keep in mind as we lay this out, the wider piece, it's labeled in the instructions here as A, that is your header. That is going to go to the front of the Jeep. So as we lay this out, I'll get back on the video and kind of show you what we're doing. So the first thing we're going to do before completely laying this out for everybody is the screws that hook the header and the footer to the side rails are already pre-mounted, and there's a backing plate as well. So we're just going to unback these screws out so that we can slide in our railing. So the header and footer, those screws are already in the unit, so they will not be in your packaging. So we'll back those out before we could put it together. All right, so here we've got the four main rails laid out. So this is kind of where we're going to start. We are going to put the header on first, and then you're going to lay out 5 of these T-nuts on each side. So these are what you screw in your crossbars with. So the reason we haven't put this together yet before mounting this is these will slide right in here, and you'll slide those and kind of place them wherever you'd like them to be. And then your support feet, those will mount to these back holes here, and this here will be the top part of your mounting for that. So it too is going to just slide through there. So we're going to put the header on first. So what we're going to do is unscrew these bolts and simply slide it into the side rail, and then retighten these bolts. We're going to do that to both sides, and we're going to slide our 5 rails in. So we'll get to that point and I'll get back to you guys in just a second. All right, so as you can see, we've got the hooder, or the front piece, the hood piece mounted up. Now we are going to mount these crossbars. Now keep in mind, when you mount the crossbars, they have these pins on the bottom. Now those pins are what's going to slide through that rail system and line them up and keep them intact. So right now, what we're going to do is simply put the pins in and slide the rails on both sides. For now, we're just going to put them all in. We'll line them out once they're all in. All right, so here we go. The header and the footer are installed, and we slid in our 5 crossbars. Now these are not screwed in yet. So what you'll do here is adjust the crossbar, just kind of get a rough idea of where you're going to mount things and adjust them accordingly. Know that you can loosen them and adjust them while they're on the vehicle as you kind of adapt your system moving forward. Keep in mind when you do this to leave these 2 screws here, or these 2 screw holes, free and clear, because that's where you're going to mount your feet to mount it to the rain gutters on the Jeep. So what we're going to do right now is get this all bolted down, tightened up, and then I'll get back to you when we mount our feet, and then we'll go over to the Jeep. All right, everybody, so there you have it. So you just kind of line them out wherever you see fit for now, and as you mount things on your rack, all you have to do, just loosen up those silver bolts, slide the rack to wherever you'd like, and adjust it as needed. So again, this would probably be easier on a flat surface. Right now we have a little bit of a slope, but just slide those under, get the screws started, align them where you'd like them, and tighten them down. So right now the rack itself is built. Now what we're going to do is get started on the feet. So the mounting feet will mount the same way. So the brackets are going to mount to these back holes, and we are going to use these brackets right here. And in the kit, it came with some washers and some nuts and the bolts to mount those feet. Now once these feet bracket are in, this foot itself will just screw into the bottom of that bracket. So we'll do that last, because we're going to want to adjust it to line up to your Jeep. Now my Jeep's got a Rhino lining top, so I will not be using the foot pads. However, if you have a painted top or just the black spray top, you'll mount these. It's got some double-sided tape underneath your feet just to keep from scratching. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw these on. So just like this, they will go underneath the rack, and then we're going to screw them down. Okay, so the rack is fully assembled. We have our feet in. So these bolts for the feet will come up from the center. This is a welded on nut so that your feet just screw in. Now when you get that adjusted to size, we will put a washer and a nut on top. But until you get that adjusted, just leave that be. Now we're going to go over to the Jeep and we're going to get it prepped so that we can lay the rack on. Now I would recommend 2 people to lay the rack on. If it's just one individual, maybe throw a rug over the top and slide it up there, especially if your Jeep is lifted. Anyway, let's go over to the Jeep. So your front 2 mounts will be right here on your rain gutter, and the other 2 will be on these pieces here. Now What we'll do is just grab a little screwdriver from the bottom and pop these off, and it'll expose 2 bolts on each side. We'll get that prepped and get right back to you. All right, so now that we have these caps off, or just a clip at the bottom and 2 on top, what we're gonna do is loosen these 2 bolts for now. And we're gonna do this one side at a time. That way your window doesn't drop out. This is a 10 millimeter. And just like that. These feet, the rack mounting points are on top and they are adjustable. That's why we're gonna mount this first, so we can set the rack on top and adjust it accordingly. These will slide in just like that and mount to these screws right there. They will mount underneath. So remember, underneath your hinge bracket. So I'll get that going and get right back to you. All right. So it's best to do with 2 people unless you're gonna just pull the whole window out. But one side at a time. And this is what it looks like when you're all finished up. It's just 2 10 millimeter bolts on each side. Get those mounted in, get them tightened up. These are fixed pieces, they'll never need to be adjusted, so you can go ahead and tighten those down right now. Alrighty. So these brackets already come pre-installed with these 2 bolts. So you're gonna unhook those. This lip is gonna go in your gutter. Now the bracket here, it's rubber. We're gonna have that rubber piece slide underneath. Now what we're gonna do for now, because this slides around, we're just gonna put it in temporarily till we get the rack placed on top of it. So right now we're gonna go ahead and go do both sides. We're just gonna get it set up there, and then we're gonna lift the rack and get that rolling. All right, so with 2 people, we slid this up on top of our feet. So rear and the 2 front. Now the front we're gonna have to do some adjusting, but this is where you're gonna wanna get the back ones in. So the mounts on the rack itself are fixed points. So it's really easy to center the rack and place it on the roof where you'd like it from the back. Your front feet can adjust up and down based on that. In the kit, you're gonna get 4 pieces like this. So this will go on the bottom, and these here, you're just gonna take off, and they do come with Loctite already on it, so you're not gonna have to worry. So this will go on the bottom. Kind of screw them in like so. All right, so here we are on the roof. The back 2 are set up and aligned. Now we're just gonna slide our brackets so they line up to these 2 holes, and we're gonna get this started, but we're gonna keep the top loose until we tighten up our side pieces. So for now, sorry, dropped it. This piece here with your welded nuts will go on the bottom. All right, so we have got everything tightened down and the rack aligned. Now again, as you start to place stuff up on the rack, you have your T-slots. You just put your T-slot nut in here and screw your pieces down wherever you feel fit, and just loosen these, and you can slide these racks however you'd like. Now that everything's tightened down, the last thing we're going to do is just adjust your rear feet. Once we adjust these, which they look to be pretty good, we're going to put the washer and the nut on top, and then we're done.
Cali art.